Hello, everyone, and welcome to Closing Out the Year. My name is Ruth Gonzalez. I'm the Senior Learning Specialist here at Millennium Systems International. Prior to joining the MSI family, I worked in the industry as a front desk professional. I worked in the industry for about 3 to 4 years and grew to be an inventory manager of a salon, salon, and med spa. As I transitioned over to Millennium, I joined the education family. I've been here for about 3 years, and my day-to-day is really working with you guys and building internal and external curriculum to better educate the industry on our products and how to grow their businesses. So today we're going to be talking about end of year and how do we close out the year strong. So a couple of different things that we're going to be going over today is one, how do we close out the year strong? And this is a super important topic to talk about because we often find ourselves super busy during this time of year and we forget to focus on a lot of key things. So today I'm going to give you some of those topics that I want you guys to work on to make sure that you're closing out the year strong and also starting and planning ahead for 2019. So we're going to start talking about preparing for tax season, getting ready for those employee reviews. What do those reports look like? What does that conversation look like and sound like? And then what are some of the things that we want to do ongoing for 2019? So let's get started. Let's talk about closing out the year strong.
So the first thing I really want to focus on is employee appreciation during this time of year. So like most of you did say, this might be the busiest time of year for your business. So sometimes we get so involved with the traffic, with the hype, with making sales, reaching goals, that we forget to appreciate our employees. So this is what I want to focus on first and really just drive from my own experiences, see what you guys are doing at your business level to really just show employees that they are appreciated. So what I always like to talk about is gifting employees and hosting a party. So when I was in the business, we always had end of year parties, really just to get everyone together outside of the business environment if you can, and just let people know that they really are appreciated for all the hard work throughout the year. And it's always a great time to just come together and bond, team building is always a great thing to throw in there as well. So you can play little games. You can do things like Secret Santa, really just to keep everyone on the same page. And I think this is huge, especially when people get so caught up in holiday shopping. They're spending so much money on presents. Their family's coming in from out of town. So it's really a time for people to come together, enjoy each other's company, and kind of forget of the busyness that comes associated with the end of the year. So different things that you can do. I know a lot of times I deal with businesses and they're saying, it's not really in my budget to throw a huge party, or I can't really gift all of my employees because that's not in my budget, or this year wasn't my greatest year, so I don't have that extra money to really invest in these areas. That's when it's important to do different things like, okay, maybe we're going to close an hour earlier and everyone's going to hang out. We're going to drink some wine. We're going to play some games. Maybe we'll do Secret Santa. So then it takes that off of you and everyone's gifting each other, different things like that, even inviting people to lunch during your really busy days. So I come from the salon world, and sometimes around Christmas and New Year's, it was crazy. We were booked back to back, double, triple booked, and it was easy for me to just say, you know what, it's really hard for everyone to get out and buy lunch today. I'm going to go ahead and order pizza so that when you have that time to really take your break, just run downstairs, grab some food. It's on us. Just want to tell you guys that we see everything that you're doing. We see that you're staying an hour extra to accommodate that client that wants to get taken care of. So really, we're also saying thank you for that, and we're going to help you out by offering lunch on those super busy days when they might not even have time to run across the street and grab something to eat. So it's the little things that really make the difference, but you also want to focus on your employees. While yes, we're constantly focusing on our clients, we also want to bring it back to our team. So I do want to open up the floor and hear about some of the different things that you guys typically have planned for the end of the year. So whether it be a holiday party, different dinners or lunches, I would love to hear what are the different things that you guys get involved with. So if you can all go to your questions panel and send me over different things that you guys do to show your employees that they're appreciated during the holiday season. Okay, so I see that we have different holiday parties, retail party, dirty Santa. Okay, we do bonuses, holiday party, Secret Santa. Awesome. So they do different games and everyone wins prizes. This is great. So I'm hearing a lot of great things. Take them out to dinner, end of year dinner, elephant gifting. That's great. Catered, bonus, Secret Santa, bonuses based on retail sales. Cool. So holiday party with limo. Okay. We run competitions for extra sales, bonuses. Okay. Bringing everyone in for lunch. That's awesome. So it's great to hear that everyone's really involved with making, the team feel appreciated during the holiday season. I also want to focus on clients. So while yes, it's super important to make sure that your team's on the same page, we also want to make sure that we're owning in on that client experience, even when it is super busy. So I know even from my own experience, when it was busy during Christmas time, we had people double, triple book during the holiday season, but we always want to make sure that we're focusing on that client experience. So yes, even though our schedules are crazy, even though we have people running in and out, we still want to make sure that we're giving the best client experience regardless of how crazy it is all the time. So something I definitely want to talk about is your walk-in clients or people that are coming in to purchase gift cards. So for instance, for me, my birthday just passed and everyone said, you're such a difficult person to shop for. So everyone got me gift cards. So, my friends went to different nail salons that I go to, hair salons and things like that. So it's so easy for your business to have that walk-in traffic from gift cards that you guys might be selling, different retail products, if you're selling tools. But you also want to focus on those people that are coming into your business. So yes, my friend walked in and she wanted to buy me a nail gift card, but that was also an opportunity for the business to say, hey, you haven't come in to get your nails done by us. How can we convert that person into a repeat client for the business? So it really comes down to that experience. Knowing that at any point someone can walk into your business this time of year to purchase a gift card, to purchase retail, to purchase tools, but you really want to make your experience with that person amazing. So they say, you know what? And you know what? I'm not actually going to come in too and get some services done by you guys. Or you know what? I'm going to come in and get a consultation for a new color service. So it really comes down to that client experience. On our last webinar, I know that Tanya spoke to really decorating your business for the holidays, offering different types of drinks like hot cocoa, apple cider, all these different things that you can have at your business. That adds the client experience, which is great. But there's also simple things we can do, like greeting people that walk through the door, making sure you're making eye contact with every single person that comes in the business, making sure the front desk isn't texting and having someone stand in front of them for 2-3 minutes before the front desk realizes that someone's there. So it's those little things that make a huge impact on all of that traffic that you're going to be getting during the holidays. So aside from focusing on those potential clients, you also want to deal with your repeat clients. So those that are loyal to your business, how are we going to show them that we appreciate them during the holidays as well? So I always like the idea of gifting your clients, even if it's like candy canes, hand lotion, nail filers, cuticle oil, whatever it can be, but just making them feel special and appreciated as well. I think that's great, especially when everyone's in this holiday spirit. So if that's something that you guys can look into, work with your distributors, maybe they can give you some free shampoo samples, just something to really make those clients feel appreciated as well. So aside from gifting those clients, what you also want to focus on is pre-booking their next appointment. So everyone comes in right before the holidays, right? We get their injectable services done. I'm getting my hair colored. I'm getting my nails done. And then what happens in January, right? Our business, our traffic starts to slow down. So it really comes down to you pre-booking appointments for January to make sure that your book is still filled up and that everyone is still busy, that we have all of that traffic still coming to us in January. So now is the opportunity to really have those conversations to get people to pre-book their appointments for January so that we'll see them in January again. So a couple different things. Definitely some things can be getting your software to get automated to really have that pre-booking screen populate for you guys. I'm going to get into that a little shortly, but just even things as simple as like a promotion. Hey, we're offering 10% off if you pre-book your appointment in January. That's going to drive someone to come back in January versus waiting out a little bit later for maybe February or March appointment. So offering those promotions, making sure that you have a points program set up to really incentivize that pre-book as well. So definitely something we want to start working on today. So come January, we still have a lot of people on our appointment book scheduled to come in for their next service. And again, I always drive everything back to this Disney World experience. So if this is your first webinar with me, my Disney World experience is really a metaphor for how everyone feels when they go to Disney. So I've been to Disney once, I've been to Disney twice, I've been to Disney 3 times, and I keep going back because of that experience I have every single time that I walk in there. Everyone's smiling, everyone's happy, everyone's knowledgeable. I can say, oh, where's this ride? And everyone knows where to go. And everyone's smiling, even the person that's taking out the garbage in Disney World, they still have a smile on their face and they still make everyone feel amazing. And that's what we strive for in the beauty and wellness industry. It's having that place that clients can come to and feel amazing every time that they come and kind of escape from all of the different things that they might be having, the different things that might be going on in their personal lives, in their work, whatever the case may be. This is their escape from reality. And this is where they can feel like they're in Disney World. So again, we're focusing on that Disney World experience. Even if my book is 99% booked, I still want people to feel like, hey, I went to Root Salon, I went to Root Spa, and I still felt amazing when the waiting area was filled with people, when people were running in and out buying retail products. I still felt like they took care of me. And that's our goal, really, to make people feel that way every time that they come, not just during the holiday season. So for Millennium users, I spoke to pre-booking and I said how important it is to really get those appointments on the book for January when it's a little bit slower. So if you haven't already turned on your automated pre-booking, definitely something that you want to start to utilize. So it actually serves a couple different purposes. So for one, it's a constant reminder in your front desk's face. Hey, Ruth, you need to pre-book her appointment, okay? Constant reminder, so you don't have to stand behind your front desk and say, hey, did you pre-book her? They'll automatically see that pop up in Millennium. So one, it's a way of you kind of gearing them to have those conversations because it's going to be flashing in their face every single time that they go to check out an appointment. Two, it's also a great way to take that stress off of the front desk to look for the next appointment. So for instance, if we take a look at this facial, the frequency of visit is set up for 6 weeks, which means Millennium's automatically going to search 6 weeks in the future for the next appointment. I don't have to jump 6 weeks in the future. I don't have to toggle to that day in my register screen right before I ring up that transaction, or you can even make it populate after. Typically, I recommend before, because once you hand that card back to the client, they're ready to leave. So I want to make sure I pre-book before I hand that card back to them. Okay, 6 weeks in the future, and it lets me know, hey, Ruth is available for 10, 11, or 12 o'clock. It automatically lets you know what times are available based on the FOV that you input in the service definition. So definitely something to take a look at if it isn't already turned on. If you guys need more information on how to turn it on, if you need someone to walk you through it, I will send out contact information towards the end of the presentation, so just take note of that as well. Okay. Aside from that software automation, so for those of you that might not be using Millennium, you also want to focus on the script that you're using. Okay, that will also make a huge impact on the response that you're getting to your pre-booking question. So yes, I don't want your front desk to be saying, hey, Ruth, do you want to pre-book your next appointment? It's so easy for me to say, you know what, no, I'll call in. And then your front desk says, okay, yeah, just give us a call. Right? That's usually how the conversation goes. We want to get rid of that conversation and instead open it up to a question that's not a yes or no. So in this example, it says, Victoria, your hair looks amazing. Katie has recommended you return in 6 weeks, which brings us to January 6th, whatever the date may be. Do you want to come in at the same time? Does this usually work for you, or should we try a little bit earlier? Maybe your mornings is less busy, so I'm going to try to push her to that morning slot, or I might say, my nights are a little bit empty at the time being. So I'll say, hey, did you like the same time or should we do a little bit later? Also, you get 1,000 points for pre-booking, or hey, you also get 10% off for pre-booking, or hey, you get 20% off for pre-booking. So instead, I'm asking her what time works best for you, and then I'm reminding her of the incentive she gets for pre-booking that appointment. So again, it's all in the delivery. If someone asks me, hey, you want to set up your next appointment, yes or no? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say, you know what? No, I'll just give you a call. Instead, if they're opening up this, I'm going to say, you know what? Actually, the same time does work for me. Thank you so much. And then we'll go ahead and set that appointment up for her. So now that we've really talked about just closing out this year strong, let's start focusing on some of the different things that we can do to plan. So one of them is tax season. So tax season is right around the corner, and sometimes a lot of businesses struggle with getting things organized so that we're not scrambling at last minute. So, couple different things that I'll say when it comes to tax season. I always recommend reaching out to your bookkeeper and seeing what you can do from an internal standpoint to make sure that everything's in place so that you're not running around trying to get everything ready. So that would be my first tip for everyone. Reach out to your bookkeeper, be proactive and say, hey, what can we do to make sure we're on the right page? Even if it's as simple as sending an email, it takes 2 seconds. Right now, take out your cell phone, send them an email, say, hey, what can we do to make sure we're on the right track for tax season? The second thing that you really want to focus on is inventory, because a huge pain point in the industry is inventory, having the wrong on-hand quantities inside of your software, not knowing what's really on the shelves. And that's a huge part of tax season, is being able to report your inventory value and having it be accurate. Okay, so I'm going to ask you, when was the last time that you performed an inventory count? Okay, and I'm sure some of you are like, I don't even know. Or you know what? Maybe it was like last year when I was preparing for tax season. So that's something that you guys want to start thinking about. I need to make sure I do an inventory count before the end of the year so that I can have an accurate inventory value for December 31st. Okay, so depending on how your inventory processes are set up, there might be some businesses that are good to go. They might have a little cleanup to do, a little bit of maintenance, and then some businesses might say, you know what, I have to start and count every single item in my business because I have no idea what's really on my shelves at this point. So I have a question that says, someone actually counted yesterday. Well, thank you. That was awesome. I'd love to hear that. And then I also had a question of when should we be counting, or how frequently should we be counting? So really, I always say monthly to start off. Some businesses I work, inventory is probably one of my favorite topics. So a lot of the clients that come through education that have inventory issues touch base with me, just because I'm so passionate about inventory, since that's what I did when I was in the industry. It really depends on how everything is set up in your business. So some businesses, I tell them you need to be counting every other week at this point because there's so much change. Or every time we go back in to double check, you're over, you're short, whatever the case may be. I always say monthly is a good place to be. If you find that when you are doing your counts quarterly, and you feel like there aren't many mistakes in your counts, then you should continue with your quarterly counts, which is totally okay. However, if you find that every time you're doing an inventory count, there's a lot of discrepancies, that is a clear indicator that something is wrong with your processes for inventory, whether it be the employee supply usage, whether you have miscellaneous products that people are bringing up in the register. All of those things are going to affect your inventory. So that is how I would best be able to answer the question of how many times should you be counting your inventory. So I hope that helps you guys. Again, you'll have my contact information at the end of the presentation. So if that's a conversation that you want to have with me, totally okay. You'll have my information to reach out to me. Okay. So a couple of different reports that I want to show you guys, that these are going to be helpful when it comes to when it comes to tax season reporting. So we have our tax report, we have our tax collection summary. So the MR-156 is a summary of all the tax that was collected for retail services, tanning. So that's going to give you a summary. If you want a detailed look at those numbers, that's when you take a look at your MR-095. That's going to give you the details. So yes, you collected $1,000 in retail sales. Where does that $1,000 break down into? How much of it was in this product versus this product? So you'll be able to see all of that information on the MR-095. Our MR80, our register summary, again, shows you all of your sales. If you want a breakdown of services, retails, what products we're selling, what services are doing better, that's when you're going to take a look at the sales summary. So that's your MR085, a great report to look at. I love to look at that report quarterly. You can have it sent to you. It's a great report to be taking a look at just so you can have an overview of what your numbers are. And then we have our inventory sales and usage analysis. So that's our MI047. So for those of you that have inventory questions, you can definitely take a look at that report and just see what the usage was internally. For the MR80, when should you be running it? So really the MR80 you should be running at the end of every day, I say. But you can run it for a year, you can run it for a quarter. What it gives you is it gives you a lot of different information. It gives you sales. It gives you your liability, it gives you your coupon usage, it gives you the different types of payment methods that were used. So it gives you a lot of information, of an overview basically of everything that has gone through the register. So a lot of good information. I see we have a lot of questions of what is the normal level of discrepancies for inventory. So really it is a percentage of your overall inventory value. So I can't give you a dollar amount really because you might have more inventory than the business that's down the street, but definitely something that we can take a look at together. All right. So as we're talking about tax preparation, I just wanted to stem off for inventory for a couple seconds. So while you're taking a look at your inventory value, I think it's also important to take a look at some of the different inventory trends that are inside of your business. So for starters, we have different wizards that will do a lot of work for you and tell you how your business is running when it comes to product usage, product sales, things like that. So I'm going to jump into a couple of those wizards just to give you a reference point for what each of those wizards will show you. But definitely, if you're looking for more information, you're going to reach out to me. I'm going to give you some educational material so you can jump in there and start running with those wizards. Another question to ask yourself, are you utilizing the automatic purchase orders? If you are not, definitely something again to consider for 2018. Now's a great time to start revamping those inventory processes so that it takes away the strain from people in your business having to do that, and they can focus on other things like the client experience, marketing campaigns, running social media, whatever it may be that you need extra help in, and they can stem away from some of those time-consuming inventory processes. So I'm going to run through these. I know we have some attendees today that don't use Millennium, so I'm just going to give you guys an overview of what these wizards do. Again, I am going to ask that you guys reach out to us for additional educational material. I actually have a video that goes into each of these screens and shows you how to use the wizards, which I think would be a great resource for all of you. So for starters, I have my slow moving inventory analysis, okay? Again, a wizard runs through all of my retail and tells me, hey, you know, really your model quantity is set at 10 for this shampoo. You've only sold one in the past 6 months, so I think it's time for you to reevaluate how much of the shampoo you carry. So that's the purpose behind this wizard. What I will say as a disclaimer is that in order for the inventory wizards to provide you the best results, okay, you need to make sure that your inventory has been running smoothly through Millennium for 6 months. So it's based on the information that you push through Millennium. So if you're selling products as miscellaneous and you're not selling the actual product in the register, the wizard will think, hey, you have never sold the shampoo in 6 months because you've been ringing up that shampoo as miscellaneous. Okay. If you haven't created purchase orders in the past 6 months, it won't have information to really take a look at. So just keep that in the back of your head when you're running some of these reports or using some of these wizards. So again, slow moving inventory, what products do I need to stop ordering? And I can even set them on sale in this screen if I find that, yep, I should probably put this on sale because we've only sold one in the past 6 months. Model quantity wizard, another great wizard to utilize. This takes a look at your model quantity, how often it's being sold, how often it's being used, and says, hey, you know, you currently have a model quantity of 10, but really it should be at 16 because you're constantly selling out of this product. Again, just an indicator of where your model quantity should be based on sales and usage. So it's a great wizard to take a look at if you have any questions regarding that. And then just to show you guys what the screen looks like when you're setting up products inside of Millennium. Okay, this is our product screen inside of Millennium. The stock levels and ordering tab, this is where you're going to set up your model quantities. Okay, so I know I have a couple of people saying, well, where do I even set that information up in? It's right inside of your product screen, stock levels and ordering. This is where I can set up my model quantity and my order points. Again, if we have more continued questions about inventory, I have a lot of great resources to get you up and running with inventory in Millennium. To know where your model quantity should be, where your order point should be, even if some of this terminology is not familiar, if you're not familiar with some of the terminology, we can walk through that and give you some educational resources that will get you up and running with these features. So nothing to worry about. Okay. And then again, just to touch on inventory for tax preparation, I know we had a couple of questions about where can I get a list of all of the products I have inside of my business. So we have the MI025. Here's an image of it on the left-hand side of the screen. You can run the report. This is basically your count sheet. It shows you your on hand. It shows you all of the products with the barcode, manufacturer, distributor. All of the information is going to populate here for you. So definitely a report that you guys can utilize. I know we had some people asking questions about what report to run for those inventory counts. This is great. So once you run your MI025, you go out and you count your products. The next step is telling Millennium, hey, we have 6 of these, we have 10 of these, we have 3 of these. So you're going to feed all of that information into the count inventory feature inside of Millennium. So right at the top of Millennium, our top toolbar, we're going to go to inventory, then we're going to go down to count inventory, and that's where we're going to start feeding all of this information into. What I really like about this is at the bottom of this screen, okay, we see total loss or gain. That is telling me, hey, you have a total gain of $72.50 if it's in green. If it's in red, it means that there's a shortage of some of that product. So this is how you can keep an eye on, hey, do we have theft? Are we ringing up the wrong products in the register? Is there discrepancies? This is going to give you that number to show you this is what the discrepancies are. So once you start doing some of those count inventories right inside of Millennium, take a look at your total loss and gain and make sure that it's a number that that makes sense to you, right? So then sometimes I have seen in my experience working here, even in the industry, theft, if you're not constantly doing inventory counts, it's very hard to keep track of things like theft. From front desk associates, I've seen it from service providers doing services at home and they're just taking products with them. Definitely something that you want to stay on top of, and the only way to do so is to really take a look at your inventory counts and make sure you're plugging them into your software. Okay. And then for some of you who have not utilized the automatic purchase order screen inside of Millennium, again, this is just an indicator of what it looks like. For more information on actually using a lot of these features, that's when you're going to reach out to us and we're going to go through that with you. So again, Millennium is going to tell you how much you need to order based on your model quantity and how much you actually have on the shelves. It's going to say, hey, Ruth, you told me that we needed to have 10 shampoos. We only have 2. You need to go ahead and order 8 of them. It's automatically going to do the math for me, so I don't have to go back to that shelf, make sure that I have 10, say, nope, I only have 2, now I have to order 8. Millennium will do all of that for you with a push of a button. So for those of you that aren't using this feature, definitely something that you guys want to take a look at. Is it a process internally that's stopping you? Is it a learning curve? Different things that we can take a look at to make sure that you're really maximizing your use of the software. Okay. Still dealing with tax preparation, again, another huge metric that we are reporting for taxes is liabilities. So a couple of reports that you guys can utilize to take a look at the different liabilities that are standing at your business. Again, based on the traffic that you get this time of year, you'll see that your liabilities will rack up as people purchase gift cards, packages, series for the holidays. So definitely some reports to stay on top of. But really what I want to focus on is accounting for these outstanding liabilities, okay? So an unused liability isn't as profitable as you may think. So I always stress that when speaking to clients. You really want to make sure that you're owning in on the market of clients who purchase liabilities and haven't come back in to redeem those services. So really a huge one is gift cards. So studies have shown that it's almost 80% of people that purchase gift cards spend more than what's on the gift card itself. So if you give me a gift card for $100, I'm going to come in and spend more than that. I'm going to spend 120, 130, whatever it may be. It's so important to reach out to people that have outstanding gift cards at your business with the assumption that, hey, I'm going to invite Ruth in for her massage, and once she gets here, I'm going to sell her an add-on. I'm going to make sure that she takes home some retail product. Maybe I'm going to cross-sell her with a manicure, and I'm getting more money out of that gift card. It's an easier sell if they really have that liability on their account. I'm just calling her and saying, hey, Ruth, I noticed that you have a gift card on your account and you haven't come in and you purchased it a year ago, or so-and-so purchased it for you a year ago. You definitely want to come in and start utilizing that. Let's get you on the books, right? So take advantage of those opportunities that you have to really increase their ticket by doing retail sales, upselling, cross-selling them, giving them add-ons, recommending that they purchase packages and series with their gift cards if they haven't. Try different services. Hey, we have an unlimited blowout membership. You should really start taking advantage of that if you have, a series for blowouts, but you haven't really invested in our membership, which might be a higher price ticket item. So different things, different conversations that you guys can have, but it's really about getting that client to come back in and utilize that liability. And then for those of you that do have, some experience with accounting, you can't really report on revenue until it's been used. So all of these gift card sales sound great in theory, but they're just hosted as liabilities on your reports and taxes until the client actually comes in to utilize that gift card, to utilize that package, to utilize that series. So take advantage of marketing, have different automated marketing setups so that you can reach out to people that purchased gift cards 3 months ago. So from Black Friday to New Year's, that's when it's the highest liability selling time of the year. So we want to say, hey, if it's March, April, May, and you haven't used some of these liabilities, let's start reaching out to people and get them in to use those holiday gifts that they purchased or that were purchased for them.
So now we're going to talk about preparing for employee reviews. And this is probably my favorite section of this entire webinar. So what are those things that we need to do today to make sure that we're ready to have those conversations with our employees? And I find that this is one of the most overlooked areas when we think of end of year, beginning of year activities and things that we need to do inside of our business, but it's super important and sets the tone for how successful your business will be for 2019.
So the first thing that I'm going to recommend for you guys is running your MA200 or some type of analytical report if you don't utilize Millennium, but really you're trying to take a look at your metrics, okay? So we have all these different employees working at our business. I'm going to take a look at their KPIs, their growth indicators, and that's what I'm going to base my performance evaluation on. Okay, not so much the overall dollar amount, but how many of your clients are you retaining? What's your productivity? What's your retail sales looking like? What's your retail to service sales percentage? These are the KPIs that you want to structure your conversations around. So again, I've added a document to the GoToWebinar toolbar, okay? It tells you how to set goals in Millennium, but it serves multiple purposes. The first page of that document has this same information. So you have your MA200, but it also gives you the industry ideals and averages for a lot of these growth indicators. So even if you're not a Millennium client, and even if you're not trying to set up goals in Millennium, since you don't have Millennium, you still have access to these KPI. So you still have access to the averages, the ideals. You can take these numbers back to your software and say, hey, Millennium says that your repeat retention, it should be at 85. Ideally, let's see where you are. So again, MA200 is basically a report card of your service provider, of your business, of your department. Run your MA200. Schedule time in the appointment book so that you are holding that time and saying, hey, Ruth, I'm going to meet with you next Tuesday at 2 p.m. I'm going to put it in the appointment book so that we know that we're meeting at this time, okay? And we're going to go over your MA200. I'm going to show you where you are. We can sit down, have a conversation, and set up a plan of how we're going to grow by 10% or how we're going to grow by 15, 20%. It's all about that conversation and really showing people, transparency. Hey, this is what the industry is like right now. This is where you stand. You might even have your own business statistics and say, hey, for the massage therapist in this business, this is what the productivity usually looks like, just so they know where they stand. The first step is showing people, hey, this is where you are, and then setting up a plan together to show them where they should be or where they can be as a joint force. How are we going to get there together? So statistics to take a look at. Again, you have them in the document attached to the GoToWebinar toolbar. But the whole point in running these reports and sitting down together is setting new goals. So now I'm running my MA200, right? We're looking at these numbers together, and now we're going to say, let's increase, your numbers next year. Right now you're at 50% repeat retention. I want you to be at 60% next year, okay? So we're going to sit down, we're going to find a goal that we both feel comfortable with, because that's the first step to making sure that someone succeeds, is having their input in the goal discussion as well. We're going to sit down, we're going to write down that goal, okay? Then we're going to do some sort of incentive. So a lot of the different growth indicators is great, because if it's a commission-based salon, a lot of those incentives, they really carry over through, hey, you retain 10% more clients. That means your book is going to be busier. That means that you're really going to be seeing more incentive in regards to money when these clients keep returning. So things like that. I know people have different payment structures. We have salaried employees. We have team-based pay. Whatever the case may be, it comes down to that incentive. Hey, your bonus will be structured differently next year if you reach these different numbers. Or if you're selling more retail, your retail commission increases by X, Y, and Z. Or this is how much money you're going to make if you simply increase your retail to service ticket by $2. This is what the outcome looks like. So having that conversation, again, having that transparency, opening up the door to bonuses, changing their job title. Maybe they're a protege stylist, we take them up to a level 2 stylist. Maybe they're a senior stylist, now they're going to be an artistic stylist. Whatever the case may be, it's having that conversation that's really going to drive the motivation for next year. And again, we're discussing the new goals. If you have software that allows you to put goals inside of the software itself, that also alleviates some of that work for you, since it can be tracked right inside of the software. So Millennium users, there's 2 places you can set goals. You can set goals for the overall business. Great. Definitely something that you want to utilize. Set goals for the business as yourself. Hey, we did this much in retail sales in January. This is what I want our retail sales to be like in 2018. Great for management to take a look at and just set goals for what your vision is. If you're a salon and you want to be a salon and spa in the next 2 years, where do my retail and service sales need to be in January, so that I know that my plan to be a salon and spa at the end of the year is actually going to happen. So it's a great way to set goals as the overall business. You can also set goals by employee. So I can set goals by service provider inside of their profiles inside of Millennium, and then be able to track it on an everyday basis inside of Millennium as well. So again, that document really walks you through the nitty-gritty of how to set up goals. So take a look at that. If you guys have any questions, again, I'll shortly give you my contact info so that we can walk through that with you as well. Again, a lot of great progress is made when those goals are written down and you're constantly reminded, hey, this is where I need to be in the next couple of months. And again, I have that incentive that's going to help push me to get there. So goals is a great way to really get that driving. But I always say, your goals will only be as successful as, 1, you having that conversation with the person and being on the same page, but 2, staying on top of them. So you can listen to my webinar, schedule your employee reviews next week. If you don't touch base with your employees from now until next December, chances are employees will really fall off of that goals bandwagon. So you really just want to make sure you're staying on top of them. Quarterly, 10, 15-minute talks, pulling them aside at the end of a busy week and saying, hey, you were a rock star this week. You were 90% booked, what are the different things that I can do to help you to make sure that we're still maximizing that client experience? Just staying on top of your employees, having them goal focused throughout the entire year is going to make a huge difference. It's not just about setting up the goals today and forgetting about it tomorrow. So really focus on that. Okay. And again, when we speak to incentivizing a lot of these different goals, there's different tools inside of Millennium, and one of my favorites is the top N and bottom N. So what you can do is you can do different like retail competitions, right? So a lot of people say that their biggest pain point right now is retail sales, because any client can go online to Amazon, any client can walk into a CVS and purchase different brand name products. I really need to start pushing retail because I'm noticing that I'm flatlining in that area. A great way to do that is do friendly competition. You can even use the top end and bottom end to see, hey, who were the most selling employees, or, who's falling behind with retail sales, or who sold the most units of retail, whatever the case may be. The top end and bottom end, which is found under register, so register top end services or top end products, that's going to show you the employees that are selling the most or the least in either services or products. So great to take a look at. You can use these tools to do different competitions. Your incentive could be like a $25 Starbucks gift card, $25 Dunkin' Donuts gift card, or lunch on Friday. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, which I think sometimes we're hesitant to do different competitions because we're saying, oh, it's not even in my budget to give a big gift card. $20 gift card to Starbucks is really going to make my day. Like things as simple as that can really get people to say, hey, that's free coffee for a week. I'm going to really try to sell some retail to get that $20 gift card. So different things that you guys can utilize. And then again, we went through some of these reports like the MR085, but here are different reports that you can utilize to just stay on top of that goal achievement. Hey, we set you up with a goal for sales. How can you take a look at those numbers? We have your MR043, employee sales detailed, gives you a breakdown of some of those sales. And then the service to retail analysis also, that's your MR041. So you have all of these different reports.
All right, so now let's talk about planning for 2019, and let's bring everything together and focus on what we can do differently in this new upcoming year.
You really want to focus on further education, okay? This is a huge thing that I strive for. Millennium really strives for this internally as well. So a lot of the different employees that work across all different departments, they're constantly getting educated. From a service perspective, or from a beauty and wellness industry perspective, there's different areas that you want to focus on. You want to focus on services. So we have our service providers, getting them to get different certifications. These can be different incentives. If you reach your goals, I'm going to invest $500 in your education next year, or $500 and, we'll be able to send you in a class where we'll pay for hotel and things like that. So services is one place you want to focus on. You also want to focus on product knowledge. So what I like is that a lot of different distributors are starting to notice that there's a trend with retail sales going down, and they provide education to help you get your staff speaking the right retail language, I like to say, or really consulting on people's current product choices to help them make better product choices for their hair, for their nails, for their skin, whatever the case may be. So focus on product education, speak to distributors. They might even have free classes. They might even send someone out to your business. Especially for new hires, I think that sometimes we forget to focus on product knowledge. So something to consider when you're hiring new people, you always want to make sure that they have someone holding their hand, teaching them the products as well as how to use Millennium, or how do we mix color. We also want to say, hey, how do you sell these products to clients? How do you make the right recommendations? And promotions. So nothing is more frustrating than going to a business as a client and saying, hey, I saw that you were promoting X, Y, and Z, and then the front desk or even the service provider is saying, oh, really? Oh, that's new. I didn't even know about that. Oh, let me go ask, and then I'll get the answer for you. If you're doing some sort of holiday promotion, if you're doing any promotion inside of your business, everyone in the business should know about it. Everyone should be on the same page and be able to speak to those different promotions that you're doing, because ultimately that's going to make the difference for the client. if someone's sitting in my chair, it's the third time they've come in for a blowout that month, I'm going to say, hey, we actually have a blowout package for 5 blowouts and you get a discount per blowout. So you should really take advantage of that. If I didn't know that that promotion even existed, I wouldn't be able to have those conversations to clients. And even if they say, you know what, I'm not interested, that's okay. But knowing that you make that recommendation to a client, that's the part that you really want to get rolling. The more comfortable your staff is by making those recommendations, the easier it's going to be to pick up on those conversation cues and say, hey, she mentioned that she's been trying to come in for a massage. Let me sell her on the massage and facial membership. Or let me tell her you can get a massage and facial for a discounted price because these are different things that she mentioned. Maybe she's stressed. That's a great conversation lead to say, oh, really? We just got a new massage therapist. You should try her out. She's awesome. I got a massage by her last week, and it was one of the best massages I've ever gotten. Those conversation cues all start with, again, the education to know what promotions are happening at the business. Sometimes we don't have a roadmap for our employees. You start off as a part-time front desk receptionist. Where are you going to be in 6 months? Where are you going to be a year from now? And it comes down to having those opportunities available. You're part-time, maybe I'm going to make you full-time, then I'm going to make you a front desk lead, then I'll make you a front desk manager, then maybe we'll move you over to the management side of the business. But having those milestones that they can reach is really going to impact your employee retention, but also make them more motivated to meet those goals. Hey, if you help me get my pre-booking up to 70 or 60 or 50%, then we can start talking about advanced education. Then we can start talking about advancement. Maybe I'm going to give you some management duties to get you kind of accustomed to doing these different things so you can see your future here at the business. So again, establishing that career path, definitely something to start looking at in 2018 if it isn't something that you already have clearly outlined. Okay. And then creating client loyalty programs. So for those of you that do not currently have a client loyalty program set up, definitely something to consider as well. Okay, rewarding clients for coming in. If you're one of those businesses that emails me and says, hey, we're competing with Amazon that offers next day shipping. How do I get my retail sales up? I'll always tell you, do you incentivize retail purchases at your business? Right? That's probably one of the first questions I've asked you. So for those of you that are in the audience that have spoken to me before, you'll say, yep, that was probably the first thing that she asked me. Offering different rewards or points for retail purchases, that's going to make the difference. Oh, you have the same price that Amazon has. How does a client come to you and said, oh, I'm going to get 10,000 points or 5,000 points for purchasing that retail from you. I'm going to go ahead and do that because I can use those points towards my next future retail product as well. So definitely something to think about. I will say that before using any client point or reward systems, you want to take a look at your numbers, right? It goes back to that MA200 report. Where am I with retention now? Maybe I'm really under the industry average. Maybe I'm just meeting the industry average. Okay, that's great, but let's make you higher than the average. Let's take you a step further. That's how you're going to decide which promotions you want to run inside of your business when it comes to points and rewards, okay? So again, Millennium has 16 different promotion options that you can turn on, and they all stem back to the growth indicators. If you click on a promotion option, it tells you, okay, memberships are a great way to make clients feel special, right? And then it tells you here, awarding points when memberships are purchased might be a great way to promoting these membership sales. So it goes back to retention. I'm retaining clients by getting them to come back in for that next service that they've already prepaid for, okay?
All right, so I know there was a lot of different information that we covered in today's presentation. So just to summarize and take a look at all of the different things that we talked about, let's review. So first, we're going to start off with closing out the year strong. And what does this look like? It looks like us focusing on employee appreciation, focusing on that client experience, especially during those super busy months that we're going through currently. Right? So still focusing on that client experience, utilizing our software tools to support us, whether it's pre-booking, whether it's using some of those scripts that we have here at Millennium to assist you guys with getting your team ready and able to have these conversations. Once we focus on our closing out of the year, we also want to start talking about tax season. Let's have those conversations with our bookkeepers, run those reports, and know exactly when we need to hand over those numbers to our bookkeepers so that we're in line for all of the deadlines that we need to meet. We'll also start talking about employee reviews. So again, when am I scheduling out time with my employees to really sit down with them, go over their MA200, set goals with them, and talk to them about their career plans? You know, where do you want to see yourself in 6 months, Ruth? What can I do to support you to get you to that average ticket? Or what can I do to support you to get to that goal for retention numbers, whether it's scripts, whether it's using the software, whether it's offering packages, memberships, whatever that might look like. It's having those conversations and actually booking out time on the appointment book. And finally, we're going to start planning for 2019. So what are some of those things that we want to combat in 2019? And again, we focused on that education. So how am I getting my team educated? What are things that I'm doing to maintain my education as well? So as I promised you guys earlier, I do want to give you our contact information so that if you have any questions post-webinar, you know exactly where to reach us. So here I have the telephone number for our corporate office. You will also see the education email address attached to this slide as well. But most importantly, I want to give you guys access to our Instagram handle, Facebook, Twitter. Follow us. That's how you will learn about all of our upcoming education that we have planned for 2019. Join us for our coffee talks, our webinars. A lot of great things are coming in this upcoming year, and we would love for you guys to be involved. Thanks so much, and enjoy the rest of this beautiful holiday season.